Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are all doing fantastic. Just a reminder, everything we're about to do is just for educational and entertainment purposes only. We do not trade with live funds, and this is strictly just used to demo and paper trade. You should be able to see my charts now. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. If you have any questions or anything, please let me know throughout the stream, and I'll do my best to answer them as we go. We have CPI being released into markets here in 14 minutes, and excited to see the volatility that it brings, and then we're going to go ahead and predict it as we get going. And then just give me 1 second. I'm just going to remind everybody where we're at. On our Discord side, several alerts just went out, and just want to make sure everybody gets over here so they do not miss the stream. And if you guys can just let me know that you can see anything, I'd appreciate it. Hi, Oliver. Hope you're doing well, bud. But the stream looks great on my end. If you guys can just confirm as well, I would appreciate it. Okay, cool. So right now, leading into this CPI release, it looks like we are just about to, and this is going to happen on the release, by the way. Like, we've already had some great positions that have played out with a lot of volatility. On the ES, that's on the left side of our screen over here, there's been 2 winning positions so far. And then the NQ had an even bigger win. The average is 65 handles, and it wicked all the way to 88. But even if you got to our daily scalp target, you exceeded the average win. Again, in our average being 260 ticks times 4, or divided by 4 for the handles and points, folks, is 65 handles. But on average, you should have been able to net somewhere around 74 to 78 handles on this position. And then now going forward, you can see this current candle, we just wicked up to the box. And then if this candle closes bearish, which will be on the CPI release, that will be a bearish confirmation right when it activates. It is going to be a little bit harder of a position because it's not active until the CPI releases, which again can be difficult to market in right when that position happens. So, but it doesn't matter. Either way, a bearish confirmation with this red candle, if it closes bearish, then that's a bearish confirmation. I'm going to delete the other positions that have won earlier today during the Asia and London session. That way we can just focus on wherever the new position gets set. And then US 30, folks, you are going to be neutral here for the CPI release. So you won't have anything to do on that, or for you Dow folks. And then True Algo members, the SQ is currently neutral as well. So there is nothing on that. The one thing I do notice, though, is that the SQ has a bullish scalp target by True Algo to be cleared up here. And in order for us to get up there and clear that bullishly, you would need to go bearish here for the CPI or New York session. So just be aware that the SQ is agreeing that the CPI release needs to be bearish if we get this bearish close. And then from shifting from that, we're going to look at the non-futures versions of indexes. And so left side of our screen, this is the SPY, folks. And you can see the same story is being told, that the SPY right here, you can't open any positions on SPY till New York opens in an hour. But as of right now, the non-futures version is hitting the same box, and the current candle is red. If it closes red, then we are looking for reasons for puts on SPY during the New York session, but this helps build confidence in potential shorts that could get activated here in 10 minutes on SPY. This is the non-futures version of the NQ, and this is the QQQ in the center of our screen. It has also hit a box above and potentially putting in that bearish confirmation here in 10 minutes. Russell, folks, had a very aggressive move. The old average that we had is 92. Our new average is 11.5, and so we've moved up 84 points so far on that Russell. And so now this position here, it's really important that there's a potential that it could activate into a new position. I'm going to erase this to avoid any confusion. But to see this current candle down here, there's already been the move that's played out. You can see we've hit the box here during the Asia session, retracement and consolidation. Nothing ever happened. Tiny bit push back to our box. Our system says that it will trace back to the box, and then from there that move is played out, not to the full average. The daily open keeps stopping price, but depending on where this red candle does anything. If it closes bullish, then the Russell would be the only one that's actually in a bullish confirmation for CPI release, but there's nothing you can do on this current candle on the Russell. Gold and silver. Silver's already played out its short. Gold, we wanted to get 95 points. It traveled 66 points, and that position is now done. Again, with our members, we teach them when you travel 50% on average of the move. So when you travel about 47 points on gold, which is a $4.70 move, that's where you shift your stop to break even. And so this one is now done. Silver already played out as it hit the box, and that is now done. And then over here, so that means going into this CPI release, there will be no move to be taken on the CPI candle for gold and silver. Silver is in a bullish confirmation over here. You can see we've hit the box below and then put in a bullish candle that closed above, but you can't take that position on silver until gold also confirms, because gold and silver are confluence assets. You can see that here on the bottom. The right side of our screen is oil, and oil is in a bullish confirmation. Oil's one of those assets that isn't really affected by the CPI release. So all we're doing right now is looking for oil to continue trending bullish upwards to clear our targets right here. And these are older targets, but we do have a weekly target that's not old. And so overall, there's a 91% chance looking for gold or oil to clear this weekly target out over the 3 months. But because it's within target of our close above here, it is a take profit to be hit during this current London session going into New York. Crypto folks, you were in an active, I say were because I'll show you what I mean. Ethereum and Bitcoin had short confirmations. We had to wait a little bit for Bitcoin to confirm with ETH, and it took all the way till 4:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time during the London session, and Bitcoin just played that position out. You can see here. So it's just an active short, and now take profit has been hit at the box, trying to let it go further to potentially put in a new short confirmation to get a close below the box. And then Ethereum, folks, listen to this stat, there is an 81% chance you will clear this right here. That's what the True Algo system says right there. So 81% chance that during this New York session, Ethereum will come down to that circle. It also will allow Tether to clear it, and you can see Tether's heading towards it right now. Tether's only has a 73% chance to get to that target, and those update in real time as we're watching them. One of the biggest factors during any type of news release, again, as we're making our way through the asset classes, getting closer to the CPI release in about 6 minutes, is the Forex side. DXY right now is confirmed bullish, and this is a good sign for us because statistically, if DXY is confirmed bullish, then everything else goes down. Like everything goes the opposite direction of DXY. And so we'll be watching for that to play out. The euro is in a bearish confirmation, so we'll see if this continues to play out and allow us to have a bearish move, which is what we're looking to get potentially on this close for both the ES and the NQ, as well as SPY and QQQ. Stocks, folks, Amazon, you can't open any stock positions till New York opens. So what we're doing is we're watching so that right at New York Open, we can have stock options in our favor, and we know what direction they're going to move right at New York Open. And as of right now, you can see leading into the CPI release, Amazon would be looking for puts if it closes here. Apple is actually already in puts, and this is important. The Apple has already confirmed bearish as it hit a box earlier and closed bearish. Microsoft is also bearish, looking for puts right there. Even though you can see right now it's in retracement, the position would look like this, trying to get to this next box below. And then NVIDIA, right side of our screen, also put in puts. So what we're doing now is just looking across the board to see if the stocks, the biggest factors of the ES and the NQ, which is what we see in front of us right now, if they're saying the same direction as indexes. And as you can see, more of them are saying bearish rather than bullish, which you want to see if you're about to get a bearish confirmation over here on the ES and the NQ. I'm going to come check back on you guys now as that's all it took to update the entire markets for what we watch. Again, index futures, the non-index futures, plus Russell, oil, gold, silver, crypto, Forex for DXY and the euro, and then 4 of the top 7 of the stock market, all in about 8 or 9 minutes without having to do any technical analysis tools or having to rely on hindsight, which we want to try to avoid at all cost. Just coming back to check on you guys. Thank you all for checking in and saying hello. I appreciate you guys. Morning, Cove. Hope you're doing well. Mellow Man, US 30 is not, hold on, right, it's on the right side of the screen right here. See this little N? US 30 is neutral. I mean, it's one of those things that like so we don't operate on hindsight or almost like other places. There's no hit of this box right there. So therefore there is no confirmation. Even though it almost hits the box and looks like it could be a great long position, that has to literally touch the line, and it didn't. So there's no position on US 30. And then Cove, you were asking about DXY. DXY is currently still in a bullish confirmation. It hasn't hit a box yet to stop its bullish confirmation. So if DXY is bullish, statistically speaking, you would be looking for a bearish CPI release for everything else. The euro is in also a bearish confirmation to help that idea. You can see that red candle is almost turning green now. If the candle closes green, then there's no position at all for the CPI release. I think I got all your guys' questions answered. Adam, you can DM me, but regarding gold, when you say slaughtered, no position should ever slaughter you. If that's the case, then sizing is an issue, and that's something that we got to work on. But over here on gold and silver, there was only this one active short that played out right here. Again, pushed down about 67 points of the 95 on average. And the reason why you might have had a little bit of issue is, reminder, gold is a confluence asset. So even though we want gold to get to that whole 95 point average, silver, its confluence asset, also did not get to the average. It hit this box, which is its take profit, and then reverse price, and that's why it went against you. And this is why we teach you guys to practice, especially if you're newer. Again, if this is the opening of the position right here on gold, this is here, the average move, 95, and just show you again, just so you can see it live, it traveled 66 points. The half of the average is 47, meaning when that thing travels 47 points, as a trader, that's a best practice, is to shift your stop to break even after it's traveled 47 points. That way, if price then reverses against you, the worst thing that can happen is it takes you out at break even, rather than having a position that has almost become a full average win become a loss. And you don't want that to happen to you. That's, again, True Algo members, why we teach that. CPI is just about to release here in 2 minutes. I'm going to stay more on the index future side. Again, ES and Q, folks. Reminder that US 30 isn't going to change, guys. It will remain neutral. It's going to move the same direction as the ES and the NQ on the left side of our screen. Reminder, this is the ES, this is the NQ. And right now the ES is pushing up and the NQ is now, and it's bullish. And if it closes bullish, there is no position on the CPI release, and we have to just sit here and hang out and be a little bored for the next candle 15 minutes later on that. The Russell does look like it's about to put in a new bullish confirmation. Reminder, the Russell, very similar to what we were just talking about on gold, that it traveled over 50% of its average move, and now it's potentially about to put in a new position. I just can't put this until it actually closes here and CPI releases. Reminder, the ES and NQ are not going to put in a new confirmation, everybody. And they both have to close red, not one. There will be no new move on gold, no new move on silver. Here comes that release. So this is one of those times that like we can't do anything for ES and NQ, folks, or CPI. We have to wait the next candle, everyone. And there's that CPI release. And as you can see, no new confirmation. Price shoots straight up. SQ, folks, we did get that move down. By the way, if you held through that Russell idea, you can see now it's gone parabolic to help you pick up that massive win from earlier. You guys see that? And then I was trying to tell you that to time it, it was going to be very difficult to move the position right when it closed. And then you guys will see here on the DXY side, DXY pushes down, and then the euro has now pushed up. By the way, right on the release, the euro actually produced the full win. I don't know if you guys can see that down wick. Again, if you preset everything, then the euro actually just finished playing out that win on that idea before pushing up against it. Just want to make sure you guys see that wick. The average win on the euro is 36 pips. And now it's just going to be bullish pushing up. True Algo members got a bunch of our macro alerts from Sunday going off right now. Zoom out a little bit so we can all watch where price is headed to now. And now we wait for 14 minutes from now for price to close in an open area. Then it can be a new position. If not, you'll have to wait on the next candle. Gold now pushed upwards. Oil, folks, you guys did get to that target. I'll try to make this bigger so you guys can see what I was talking about. Two things happened just now on oil. One, you guys can see pushed up. We did get to that weekly target I just told you about right there. Again, we talked about like overall that had a 90% chance to clear, and it has. And then you've now hit our True Algo 80% wall right there. The green thing that you see for the position, that's the full average win. But we've now hit that take profit 1. This will be take profit 2 if we can get it. If not, the position is now done from hitting our level 4, which is the start of that green box, which is that 80% wall I was just talking about. 80% of the time you won't be able to close inside of that green area. And right now oil is not letting me show gold and silver as TradingView is being dumb. So I'll just wait until it decides to start to play ball. Both SPY and QQQ did not put in that bearish confirmation we were talking about. You see how that candle we were just talking about for CPI did not close bearish, and that's why price is pushed up instead of pushing down. Same thing with the actual futures versions of ES and NQ. Those both pushed up as well. You can see that take profit happening now. US 30 hitting our box. This is not where you go long, everybody. You can see all those retail traders and a lot of you prop firm folks, you have to stay out of the position for the first 1 or 2 minutes potentially. And so now you see that big bullish candle and you jump the gun and you're longing into our box above. And this is where you would take profit and then look for reasons to short until you close above it. And so now you're getting rocked if you're chasing that volatility. Also, the SQ is at the reversal point, correct? True Algo members right here. And so this is not where you would be looking to long indexes, because the SQ is ready to rip the hearts out of everybody who's bullish as it's at that point. If the SQ can get below this box, then you can have continuation upwards on everything else. But make sure you guys are not jumping the gun and longing this top side. You can see across the board, you see how like we're taking profit at these True Algo boxes. Don't be retail chasing any type of volatility. The SPY is hitting a box above, taking profit at our system. QQQ is taking profit. The Russell's the one that's that gift that keeps giving. It's not really facing any type of retracement on that idea. Reminder that Russell position earlier, if you were on during the Asia session, and even if you don't make the very first position, like this is position number 1, and let's say you missed that, but then you were awake during the London session right here, this is the next long position, but you would use the stats from the first position that was produced during Asia. And then if you missed any of those entrances, then right here, this is still London, though some of you might think it's New York. New York's not open till 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time using our system. And then right at 7:30, there was a new long position there. And then obviously the one that we said live. Russell was the only one that I told you would have an opportunity that right at the release could produce a new long position that you guys saw. We couldn't get one on SPY, QQQ, the ES, or the NQ, or US 30, because they were had already finished their short position, and we were waiting for a new confirmation candle to be bearish. We didn't get it, and that's why markets have pushed up. I hope that makes sense. You can see oil taking big profit now at our True Algo weekly target, as well as the 80% wall. Crypto folks, remember Bitcoin finished that position out from hitting the box, and now we've reversed, and there can be a potential new position here on Bitcoin and ETH. ETH has the potential to put in a bullish confirmation now, but Bitcoin is now stopping it. So it's going to be a little bit of hurry up and wait now for the crypto side. Reminder for crypto folks, if you've been struggling with some of this volatility and thinking that we're only going to go to new all-time highs, this is the True Algo weekly box continuing to stop price since Sunday before it got here. I can show you if I zoom out. So as people get overly bullish, it was okay to be long over here at 108K to push up twice now. It's caught the low. But you, like I was showing you on the indexes right now, you can't long that box above. This is where you're supposed to stop. So you can remember this going forward though. If you're a crypto person, if Bitcoin can close a candle above 111.2, that's when you're going to see continued new all-time highs. Until that happens, it's just always going to be a place to short, and you're seeing those shorts play out. Trying to see where the euro got to. Euro and DXY are still looking really powerful. They're both hitting the weekly system now. Get the stock side out of the way as we wait for the next close here. Reminder, you can't open any positions on stock options until New York opens at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. They're all hitting a box above for a potential new close above on them of the box up here, where you see these lines being drawn. That would make them all bullish looking for calls, which means the indexes would push up at New York open. But we have to close up there. If we don't, then this is where prices are all going to stop and then flip bearish. Reminder, we can't long the box above. That's where you take profit on longs and look for reasons to build short ideas. As we watch this from a live perspective, that close is now within 8 minutes, and we'll update as we go. Sorry, I'm just now checking on you guys on chat. The euro versus the pound, Hassan. I know you've been killing it on the Forex side, but let's check it out real quick. I'm going to let that load. While it does, I'm going to come check back on you guys. The euro versus the pound had a long position that played out, and now it's in retracement on its current short ideas as it's going to clear out targets. Sorry, I can't talk. See if the pound offered a bullish confirmation. This is the pound for all you Forex folks right now. And then trying to see, was there a long confirmation right here in this area to help push that asset up? And there was right here. I just really quick want to double check if the pound closed 3 ticks below. It did not. So this is one of those things you guys will learn with our system. You see how this is a bearish candle closed below this box? It has to close 3 ticks below. And as you can see here, it was only a single tick. So that's not a valid bearish confirmation, but then valid bullish confirmations over here, and the pound obviously played out greatly. Trying to read all your guys' questions or asking. Yeah, Adam, and I see now what you posted, bud, about trying to hold for that full move. Hopefully this will help you going forward. Like, if there's there's a news release or New York Open is coming, those two things are going to be the biggest volatility injections into markets. Almost always, either a news release or a New York Open. And so if prices traveled already 50% of your average move using our system, that's the best time to protect yourself, because the worst thing that can happen is the move will push up. You know what I mean? Gold. The move will push in your favor, take your stop at break even, and then still play out, which will be frustrating to you. You know what I mean? But that's much better than going 50% or 66 points out of 95, which is more than 50, and then it to do that. It's almost 70% of the average, you know what I mean? Only for it to then not hit your stop at break even because you want to hold the full average, and now it does this, and then you blow accounts, and you don't want that to happen to you. You know what I mean? And it's not a hindsight thing. That's why we teach that 50% average, especially when you're newer to the system. But one thing you can teach yourself is, if you're just about to open New York Open, or you know there's a news release about to happen, that's the time to be more protective, not to be less protective of your idea. That's, again, when you're the difference of people who teach everyone through back testing and then people who operate on live markets It's a very good habit, and we all knew that CPI was coming. You know what I mean? We've told you in the Discord to help you. We just want to help you be protective of your ideas. Sorry if my nose is sniffling a little bit. I'm trying to remember not to do that. I'm trying to read what else you guys got. Ifrin is asking, the gold didn't close bullish through our system. I think you're just saying the candle closed bullish and then it's flying. There's no shorts earlier, like right before the CPI release. Also, silver, which is a confluence, Ifrin, if you're still here, bud. Silver and gold are confluence assets to each other. Silver's been in a bullish confirmation since 7 a.m. So roughly 4 candles before CPI released, silver said to go long. And silver and gold are confluence, as in they move in a similar direction as each other. So that could be why gold decided to push up instead of push down. You guys see US 30 people. Anyone still getting sucked in over the past 3 or 4 minutes are still getting rocked. You guys see it? There's nothing in there to do. Just wait for the close. And I'm telling you guys now, the ES and NQ look good because they're potentially going to put in a bullish confirmation here, guys. I'll show you what it looks like. This is what it would look like on the ES. The NQ has to stay above that box. But US 30, you're not going to get anything. It'll be another candle where you got to sit here, chill, and wait. We have to wait for our setups to be activated, and we can't jump the gun. If you jump the gun, you're going to be those retail traders that get caught at that high. You don't want to be that person. And then Adam, with stacked boxes or boxes that are really close together, you will still view each box separately, correct? Adam, you can tell me like which asset, and I can help look at it specifically on the live. One of the things, guys, that you're watching right now is like, if you're with us, like with True Algo members, we do this every single day live on our Discord, and you ask questions and you get them answered on live candles immediately. You don't have to wait for someone to review it a week later and try to talk to you about it. Like, we answer your questions. So Adam, just let me know which asset, bud. So I see your other question, Adam, related to silver and gold. It's just when gold produced its short position with silver right here, that same candle, silver was done as soon as it hits the box. And we have 2 take profits, right, bud? Take profit 1 is when you hit the box or you hit the average, and then the second take profit is the opposite, whichever comes first. In this case, silver already hit its take profit box and flipped, and that potentially could stop that move on gold, because now gold could be looking to flip bullish because silver's flipped bullish. So it's just one of those things. That would be another reason why to shift that stop to break even with the news release or an open about to be happening. And with stacked boxes, you don't ever use one box over the other. You have to use the combination or the culmination of the 2. By the way, guys, in total, Russell pushed up 347 points. Again, True Algo members, you know that average we gave you. And by the way, True Algo members, if you read the stats, that we had a big update on Sunday, guys, that we just had a brand new update on the Russell. And the average move on the Russell increased from 92 points up to 11.5, or 115 on average, 116, sorry. But the stats that we give out now is we actually tell you how far or how good each session is. So Monday on the Russell is more consolidation, and there's a less probability of the move playing out in your favor. Wednesday is one of the, especially London, is one of the best performing sessions in all of True Algo. The average is over a 2.6R, even using the current stats that we already have. So if the average move is 11.5, then during the London start on Wednesday, then the average would be over a 225 or 240 point move. And this is where you can see why. So it lets you know, using the stats now based off of per session, when you're aware of that, you can change your sizing. So on Monday, you would size less in the London session, but on Wednesday, you would size bigger. When you practice, again, this is all just for demo and paper trading purposes. That's how you can take advantage of the way we produce our stats now for our members. And we're updating all of our assets to reflect that. We just had that close, everybody. And now look, I want to make sure that you make sure we're not saying one thing and doing another. Look at the circle, and then you guys can sort of answer for me. We talked just a little bit ago that if the ES and NQ closed bullish above this box for both of these, remember these are confluence assets, we can see that right here on the ES and NQ, which is different than what you guys learned from other places. You guys don't build confluence typically, you just trade a single asset. There's no long confirmation for us, so we can't take this long. So even if price just goes parabolic right now, we just say goodbye, have a great day, we'll catch you on the next candle. So there's no long position, you're neutral now. And then if this current candle pushes up above the box and closes up here, I'll move the circles, then we can have a long position. But right now, True Algo is telling us that things are going to consolidate most likely right here, and people are going to get chopped up, or not just get chopped up and consolidated. It could push down and produce a bearish confirmation if you get a bearish candle to close below the box there. A bearish candle would obviously close below, it just has to close below the box. US 30 folks, you are still neutral, right? We said that would be happening because there would be no new move produced out of that. And then reminder, True Algo members, that SQ is telling us that the indexes right now are done going higher until it loses this box. Get the SQ down here and the indexes are going to fly upwards. Same exact story on SPY and the QQQ, everyone, that they are at a box for take profit and neutral. There's no new position, and those won't change until the next candle close, but you also can't open QQQ, ETF, or SPY ETF positions until New York opens anyway. So we're just tracking where we're going to look to have ideas when New York is going to open. The Russell, all you're doing now is if you haven't closed your long position, which in reality you should, again, from a demo and paper trade purpose only, everybody, the Russell now would have a new long produced up here. So there's no reason to, like, you know what, I'm just going to hold and I need to get back up here again. It's like close the position, move on. All of you guys that are on like real brokers, your margins have now been restored. And so once you guys close above here, that's a new position. So you don't need to worry about, hey man, I want to just keep trailing all the way up there. It's like, just the position's done, wait for a new close above. Because if not, you'll be really upset if you reverse from True Algo boxes here, and then instead of netting all of that profit right here, if you didn't close already, you then end up only getting that much. You know what I mean? I'm going to come back over and check on you guys. I'm doing all this from my laptop. We're not at the office, and so right now I'm traveling but still going live for members so that they don't miss opportunities to have live help. What's the role of SQQQ? Mello's asking. So the SQQQ was found, and we shout out our members when they're doing absolutely amazing things. And Mike, who's one of our True Algo experts, he found that the SQQQ provides a great confluence, which you guys are seeing live right now, where it can potentially, in real time, not hindsight, not later, not with the new print, can mark where prices are going to stop. And the SQ is the opposite movement, kind of like what the VIX is to index futures. You guys see it now? Remember I said people will get chopped up if they're going long right here because the SQ is hitting this box and it wants to flip bullish. If the SQ is bullish, then index futures are going to go bearish. So again, shout out to Mike for finding that, bud. And then hopefully you guys now that are asking Mellow Man about that SQ side, we do have brand new learning platform videos that teach this SQ concept, by the way, and it's something we're tracking going forward too. And also you can play the SQ and the TQ as ETF positions on major platforms, major trading platforms. You can short the SQ, you can long the SQ, and right here is where you would be looking to long the SQ. The SQ is a 3x short against the NQ, by the way. And the TQ would be a 3x short on the long side. Not a 3x short, a 3x long leverage. It's how people can leverage the stock market without selling their positions. They can play this because it has actual leverage built into their position. A lot of people don't use the SQ and TQ, by the way. And reminder that most people lose, so by using things that other people don't use, we tend to perform better. You guys see how now I told you, just using the system, if people are longing our box above, they're going to get destroyed. There is no long yet. And now you can see price is taking advantage of them by pushing against their position. The spreads are going to be really wide right now because of the news release. So they're getting filled really high within this on their longs, and you can't long a box above. This is the only place to take profit on longs and also look for reasons to short. You can see gold taking profit as well, as gold cleared out our weekly target. Oil, again, not affected, like I said earlier, regarding news events, and it looks like it's slowly inching its way back up to get to that full average. Again, right there is the average move that is predicted with the True Algo stats right there. A 62-point win on oil is where we're trying to get to. Again, crypto folks, there's no move on any other asset class because there's no new close for another 10 minutes. This is just looking at the stock side just to see if there's any new positions. But again, you guys can call me out. Like, look, remember what I said? The stocks were all hitting a box except for NVIDIA. NVIDIA is actually in a bullish confirmation 5 minutes ago. So NVIDIA is looking for calls still at New York Open. We are still 30, well, almost 40 minutes from New York Open. But Microsoft, Apple, and Amazon are saying stop right now. That's what they're saying with their position, which is why you're seeing the indexes stop where they're at right now. You guys see that? Stop, stop, stop. And we'll keep updating the stocks for options, folks, every 15 minutes. The pound and the euro and the DXY. Gosh, looks so good. You see this? See the pound? Remember, don't long the box above. That is a take profit on longs and areas to look for reasons to short. You can see DXY is hitting our stacked box. This is a magnet for price. Also, True Algo members, this is the most important area for DXY because if it loses this double stack here, you will be trending bearish on both sides, meaning Forex is going to the moon. So please be aware of that. This is where we're supposed to reverse on DXY until we close below the box. It's important for you guys to see this in real time, not hindsight, not backtesting about predicting what the candles are going to do. And again, you can see that ES and NQ, that same concept of we are not longing this high here where everyone else is going to take that bait. Meloman, yes, exact, bud. That how Tether is the opposite direction of crypto. So when Tether goes down or has a bearish confirmation, you look for a bullish confirmation on crypto. You are correct. That's what the SQ is to index futures. It's just like how DXY is to euro. They are the opposite confirmation. Oil just put in another new high, everybody. I'm trying to show you this over here. Reminder, that line right there, 66.55 to be exact, is that 62-point average that you see right here. I know it's smaller on your screen, but we did just put in another new high on oil, and now just trying to get it up to that full average win. Ifrin's asking if I still use the True Algo calendar for Hines. So the Hines indicator is a free system that we allow anyone to use. That one, right now it's creating a box system for you and it won't set for another 6 minutes. And so right now, while you guys are waiting for that Hines to set, like you're talking about the calendar, the True Algo members already know where the positions were before that gets set. And as far as the calendar about the news events, we track all the news events with our members that we're watching. Like for instance, Jolt's PPI is tomorrow. Our members know that it's tomorrow, and I will be live with our True Algo members tomorrow for the PPI release. So that's something that you would already have. You can look at the calendar from the Hines indicator, but they're already aware, and I'm live to help them as well during those news events. And our boxes from our system print before that Hines indicator activates. I hope that helps. For the person who just asked about gold, remember, again, this is your opportunity to be like, is what he's saying happening in real time? That's what's most important, because everybody operates in hindsight, right? Look at gold. If you're bullish on gold right now, you're going to get destroyed because you, again, are longing a box above. This is also where you're supposed to reverse bearish every single week on gold, and it is. So anyone who's longing gold, that entire candle is retraced now. And guys, that is a, hold on, how much to be exact? It is a $20 or 200 point move on gold, that wick right now. You don't long that. So even if you're not in the position, you're at least not, the True Algo system is making you not make the mistake of going long where retail traders are hoping to win. And I need you guys to understand this. Hope is not a strategy. Like, you can't hope things work out in your favor. That's what all the other systems teach you. They cherry pick what indicator or what concept to teach you that day. They go back and try to find one to fit the narrative. And then when you pick the wrong concept on a live candle, they blame you. Look at gold now. Look. You don't long boxes above. This is where you look to short, okay? And at the same time, look at oil. Oil, we are trying to get to our average win, and it's approached the green box. It's getting above the 80% wall, which is that very first green line. And this is the difference in a live situation, why we're trying to get to that average move, because the stats say so. And look at how the index futures for 11 minutes now have done absolutely nothing, because there is no new move. And that's the best part about our system. And the best part on top of that, sorry to repeat the same words, we aren't longing the high right now where everyone else is chasing it. Whether your broker didn't allow you to get to the position, you were scared to take the position, and now everyone sees green, so they take a green position, and now they're getting destroyed. And our system is telling you to stop at the high. Remember, look, count how many times. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oop, give me the circle. 8, 9, 10. There are 10 reasons why right now you shouldn't be longing the high. The only time we would look to long the high is if you get a bullish candle to close above the box. But there are officially 10 reasons not to be looking to long, and that's why those people are getting punished, because they can't see that box system that we have, or they wouldn't know how to trade it either way. But we teach you guys how to do it with our system, and I hope that makes sense. Again, it's not just about being in an active position, it's about not taking the wrong position and getting destroyed in the meantime. Oil is inching up again. I'm going to try to, so I don't miss it, I'm going to put a little line here. So we have that average win when it gets popped. Martha, I think I got you covered already. It's already reversing from our weekly system here on gold. And look at that. If gold now, Martha, if you're watching, but or anyone else, gold has to close below this box in 2 minutes. And that would be a short confirmation. And then silver has to also confirm, bud. If silver doesn't confirm below this box, then we're neutral. I'm not telling you silver's or gold's not going to drop, but silver has to confirm also bearish, or we can't take the idea on gold. Does that make sense? And it can't just be a bearish candle. It's got to close below the box. Again, we don't operate on hoping that something works out or trying to say, hey, I mean, it's a bearish candle. Can't that count? No, it has to follow the rules. The rules are it has to close below the box bearish. If not, you will be neutral for 30 more minutes on the idea. It does look like potentially US 30 is going to put in a bearish confirmation, guys, here on this close. Again, that bearish candle will be able to remove N for neutral and put in a short idea. You can see one of the coolest things from a live perspective. You see the three other stocks that we talked about all looking like the ES and NQ, but look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the only one you see right now on the right side of the screen that has a bullish confirmation, and look at it live, playing out. It's so cool. You would think that it would move exactly the same as the others, but nah, man. It is in a bullish confirmation from True Algo, and it is pushing up. Such a good sell-off on the pound and a buy opportunity for DXY. By the way, this was 2 more reasons for why not to long the high on index features. So that's 11 and 12. 12 reasons. Again, typically DXY goes down, then indexes and everything else goes up. And there's that close. We did get a valid bearish confirmation here on US 30, but you're by yourself, as in like it's the only one that's in a bearish confirmation. This is the average move we're looking at on US 30 to be played out. Again, that's that 105 win on average. Expect up to 32 ticks of retracement to push against you and then to move in your favor. So any of this area would be a sniper entrance area that you get to watch, or it could be a loss, and then the loss would be when you close above. There, once again, guys, for the ES and NQ folks, you see the close. There was a bearish confirmation on the NQ, but there is no bearish confirmation on the ES right over here. Super important. So therefore, you cannot take the short idea on the ES and NQ. Trying to see that Russell, it does, I'm like 99% sure it was 3 ticks. It's just so close to that box. It's exactly 3 ticks, but the take profit is so small. It's like in a live situation, True Algo members, this ain't worth it. I mean, I have to get rid of this position now that played out already. You guys see that? It's just not worth it, because this would be, you know what I mean, this is what the stats would be looking for, something on this side. And so if you're going to size, you got to size smaller. Does that make sense? Because this would be a new short position, and then that would be a much more manageable stop loss. So size smaller in that area, unless you are taking and being super aggressive, taking advantage of that. And I'll say that for another day. But for right here, you're just about to hit take profit 1, and there it is. You know what I mean? And then so wait for that close to be below the box to then have your normal sizing ideas. Gold and silver, by the way, did not confirm. So Moth or anyone else watching, you see how gold did not close below the box? Silver didn't even close it as a bearish candle. So there is no new close, no new idea. Crypto folks, Ethereum, really important, is looking for calls now. Just the stock market is looking to be bullish, and Bitcoin is neutral because it hit the box and didn't close below it bearish. So you can't take the idea on Bitcoin. If you're trying to look for longs on ETH right now, watch this really quick, crypto folks. This is bullish, but Tether is neutral as well. So Tether doesn't help us. So we want to build confluence. So what do we do now? You can check total 2. Total 2 is Ethereum and the rest of the crypto market. So you want to have a bullish confirmation, and you do. So if you are looking for reasons to long, total 2 and ETH are agreeing, and they're, at least Bitcoin is neutral. But just so you guys know, if Bitcoin closes this candle bearish, then that ETH idea is going to be very bad. Okay. And then lastly, for you altcoin folks, we can look at total 3 to see if it also produced a long idea up here. And by the way, total 3, listen, crypto members, listen to me. Total 3, which is just the altcoin market, is telling us to stop. Stop longs. Does that make sense? Like, you should be looking reasons to take profit on your long ideas in practice, in theory, and looking to push down. When you close above the yellow box, then it can be looking for reasons to go long on the crypto side. It just means that this long position on ETH can be very difficult to play out, especially because Bitcoin is telling you to sell. Does that make sense? Bitcoin is that biggest factor of the crypto market. So just be careful on sizing if you're taking the ETH idea. Again, Russell already hit that take profit 1. That's why I was telling you that a sizing position, that's not a very good idea on Russell. It still is winning, but that next close would be right here. US 30 folks push down 40 handles. Sorry, it's a habit, like the 40 points depending on how you guys say that. But and that US 30 idea looks a lot better than the Russell because the stop loss is so manageable. You guys see this? And then from a live perspective, the average retracement is 32 points. It didn't retrace that far. It was much smaller. It retraced 19 of 32. But we give you the average. Remember that I said to you guys earlier, you can rewind the tape, like literally rewind the tape 3 minutes ago. And I said we can expect up to 32 ticks of retracement on average, and for it to do something like that. And so it retraced 19. So you can anticipate that average retracement against your idea. Ifrin, we teach you guys all to use the futures data. So like most of you guys are using CFDs for any type of Forex or I mean, you're probably using CFDs for everything. So like you're using like NAS 100, SPX 500 cash, things like that. And then the gold side and silver side, you guys are using like XAU, USD, that type of stuff. And that's a CFD broker. I know you're probably aware of that, but the problem is those CFD brokers, they're not regulated like how the CME futures are, the COMEX, the NYMEX, the CMEs like we use. And so those brokers can mess with whatever they want with the spreads. They can mess with whatever they want with price action. And so, like you said, your boxes and your asset will look differently than what I'm using here. We teach everybody on the futures data because it's regulated and it's the best data for price action. And it's also a paywall that the companies do. Like you have to pay for the data to use futures, and it keeps their average retail trader out. So they rely on CFDs, and that's how those brokers take advantage of you. And also, take a guess what all the prop firms, what do you guys use? They force you to use CFDs, and it's for a reason, because they can move the spreads and the price action the way they want. So you might want to use that going forward, everybody. But I highly suggest you guys practice on futures data. It's the most consistent data there is, and again, it's regulated. I see Stardust is saying I think that might be Neutrino. I could be wrong. I'm trying to guess your guys' names. He's talking about he shorted copper. Since the oil position is pretty much done, I'm gonna move copper over here on the right side. And I'm just guessing that there's just a box here on copper for a potential short. Or I could be wrong. We'll see. Yeah. If you're short in copper, you're shorting into our box right now. So just be careful if you're wanting that to play out in your favor. There is no active short on copper at the moment. Whoop, come on. Don't know why that position's not showing now on oil. Again, we teach people to save these ideas so that as soon as the positions get activated, you can draw them on your screen and keep tracking them. You can see ETH is back to break even on its long position. Reminder, sizing, be careful because Bitcoin is not agreeing with you. If friend, I don't understand your question, bud, so just ask again or in a different way. Adam, that is correct, bud. What you said. And Ifrin, if you're saying your GC1 is bullish, and if you're, I'm sorry, I'm always trying to guess if some of you guys, your names is different on YouTube than it is on Discord. Just DM me and I can look at your chart versus compare to mine. But there's only one version of GC, and it's the COMEX side. Because like after GC, it's their other assets. Does that make sense? And if you're using XAU, USD, you know what I mean? Oops. Again, all these are CFD brokers. And I'm not sure if this was a bullish confirmation like you're saying or something like that. Nah, it's not. It looks the same. By the way, that weekly target was gorgeous on the CFD side. Back to the GC COMEX side. That position now came back. I don't know why TradingView is being dumb on oil. It's showing correctly now. Amazon did put in looking for puts on that close. Sorry, I didn't come back to the stocks when we had that close. You are still neutral over here on Apple. The potential that Apple could put in a bullish confirmation here. That means you would be looking for calls at New York Open, but that candle has to close green above. You're neutral on Microsoft. So the two biggest factors of the ES and especially the NQ are both neutral. And you guys can see NVIDIA is still in its bullish confirmation, and it did put in another new high on that current candle that opened. So Microsoft and Apple are going to really help what New York is about to do. If Apple can close below here and get into puts, Microsoft is already getting ready to activate puts in less than 5 minutes, then New York is going to play bearish most likely at the open. So again, we can predict, that's why we show these, most likely what New York's going to do right when it opens. But don't worry, I'll update that here in 5 minutes when we get the next close. And then note that I'll be jumping off here, YouTube folks. I'm not going to stay on here the entire time with you guys. True Algo members, I messaged you guys last night about when I was dropping. I'm about to get on a flight, so I just wanted to make sure I was covering as much of the live markets before I jump off. You guys can see Ethereum did put in a new high. Again, here's the 1 minute, just so you can see what I'm talking about. Literally 1 minute ago, put in a new high on that position. Yep, now I got to just, it's going to be a little boring as we hurry up and wait for the next 5 minutes for this close. If you guys have any questions or anything, please let me know. I can help you. Ifrin, it's actually really easy, bud. Like, if you're someone who uses that CFD broker, because let's just say you're on a prop firm or something and that's what they use, all you need to do is just put them next to each other. So like put your GC right here and then put XAU with your exact broker that your prop firm requires, and then turn all of the indicators off and just use this chart to make all of your decisions. And then you can take your crosshair here, like how I have. You see how like you can see the crosshair on all three charts? And then from there, you can do your positions however you want on this chart by literally looking at whatever this one says. Not hard to do. And a lot of you guys, note your prop firms do this intentionally. They don't allow you to trade on these platforms or real platforms. A lot of them are making you trade on their platforms now that they create. That's so that, again, you never actually trade on a live account. You never trade on real markets. It's always a demo, and it's never the same data that everyone else faces. And again, that allows them to take advantage of whatever they want to do. Make sure you guys read their disclaimers. I'm not trying to trash prop firms. I'm just saying make sure you're aware of what you're reading. But that would be my suggestion, Ifrin, for you asking what are you supposed to do if you're someone who uses CFDs and you're seeing us chart on futures markets. Just put them side by side. It's an easy fix. And then Adam, let me see your question, bud. So looking at NASDAQ and the S&P, if they both close below the box, would you be looking for shorting to the next box? So this is, the NQ already produced that short, right? But then it popped this box. So now it's a neutral. So you can't do anything. And the only way to take a short now, Adam, is that it has to close below both of these boxes now because NQ says stop. So unfortunately, you have to wait again. And this is one of those things I told you guys, like, we don't like I said, we don't operate on hope. We don't operate on hindsight. And if there's no confirmation position, then we can't do anything and we have to wait. But even if the ES closes right here, Adam, we would have to have another succession of candles to produce a short on the NQ. It would need to close below. It just means that we should look at another asset rather than trying to force the ES and NQ to have a position, because that would be a short down here, or this could be a long up there. Those are the two things we're looking for. No longer are we looking for in these boxes because the NQ just canceled it out. Hope that makes sense. Let me know if it doesn't. Which means then you can look at US 30, you can look at the Russell, you can look at SPY and QQQ as we get closer to New York Open. Moth, for whatever you were saying, just a reminder that there is no, I know you're not a member, but there is no short confirmation yet. You got to close below the box, bud. So closing below 33.54, that could be a potential short opportunity, but there are no shorts here. And you can see we're flipping this box bullish from our system from a live perspective. So EBT is asking, will the ES and the New York session affect crypto during this CPI release? We've already had the CPI release, but if you're talking about just New York opening, then yes. And typically crypto folks, like, we follow, like the Ethereum and Bitcoin side, we follow the direction of the index futures. And so there's that next close. You actually did get a bearish confirmation on the ES now, but the NQ has canceled the position out because it hit the box. And so EBT, the crypto tends to lessen its volatility when the New York session opens because people are moving their money to the stock market, and the assets that you can play there with the volatility picks up. But yes, statistically speaking, whatever direction that the ES and the NQ move, crypto tends to follow that same direction. Did get a new close for all of our stocks. So you can see over here, center left, that N means neutral for Apple, and we did not get a bullish candle closing above the box right there. So Apple is still neutral. Microsoft apparently is in I don't want to print a new candle mode. I'm trying to figure out what TradingView is doing at the moment. It hasn't produced that new candle yet. So for some reason, it will show in a second here. NVIDIA, folks, we're still looking for calls at New York Open. Amazon, we're still looking for puts. And then there is nothing on Apple. You have to be neutral leading into this New York Open, but we might have call options if we close green above or close bearish below. I'll keep tracking that as we get closer to that. See if we can get a new low on that US 30 for New York Open. I said I was going to jump off the True Algo members. I'm getting ready to close the session. And those of you guys that are not a member, I hope you guys have a great rest of your thing. But I do want to keep staying on, but I'm looking at the clock, and that flight is going to become very awkward here. I'll try to track it just a little bit longer. Well, Bud, again, I know you're not a member. That's why I was talking to you earlier. Usually with the act of trading, most people are losing because of time, not because of like going long or going short, but it's just the time that they're in markets. And that's why, again, statistically speaking, 40% of people never last 1 month in the market. Kind of because like what you're saying there, that they are trying to make quick cash, like you're saying. The prop firms sell you this dream too, you know what I mean? And that's what I mean by time is usually against you to make your positions play out. That's why hedge funds, like, they don't operate on trying to win just on a news event and stuff like that. So, but I do agree with you. I mean, there is an opportunity if it's a 50-50 shot, right? For most retail traders, if you go long or short when events get released, and the move is so big, it can help you, but it also can hurt you too. And people always say, oh, I'll go long and short at the same time, and I'll just set my stops and I'll be fine. That means you've never traded on live candles because I can assure you, you can set your stops all you want with the high volatility, and your broker won't fill your stops. And they will purposely not fill your stops to make sure both positions ruin your account. You can set your stops all you want, but those brokers will have fun not letting your stops get hit. I'm sorry I laugh. It's just, I get a lot of people say that, oh, you can just go long and short at the same time and your stops will get hit. Yeah, it'll work on a demo account. It ain't going to work on a live account. It'll get humbled real quick. West, I've done that a couple of times, and there's been several times where I've opened a position, and more so on crypto, and I'm just like, I'm just waiting for the Wi-Fi to stop working, and it usually will happen right after you open the position, and now nothing works. I did it before on a flight that was 6 hours, and it was not fun. I did set the stop, but I never knew if it would hit until the flight got done. All right, folks, I just don't want to take any chances. I am going to jump off now. I hope that it was helpful. I'm sorry that there wasn't any new position to be open, but for those of you guys that hung out with me, the biggest thing is the Russell was the move. You know what I mean? That played out perfectly with our system, as did oil. And those happened. They happened live. It's great. But I know I'm apologizing. I didn't do anything wrong with the markets. There's just no new position. You know what I mean? But I can't stress this enough for those of you guys that struggle in live candles. Everywhere else, people are going to change their time frame up here or try to use a different concept or indicator in this area. And you saw there were 12 reasons. I'm not saying a random number. We counted all 12 why you should not be longing the high that was occurring. And that is the inaction of not going long is a win. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't chase what is going to destroy most retail traders because they miss that position and they get the FOMO and they want to go long, and now they get punished. And so that's, to me, the system is worth it just in that, so that because you're not hoping what's going to happen or thinking maybe this or maybe that. Our stats tell you look to short the box above when you get a bearish candle, and you saw live it happen. And you saw what I said when we were hitting the boxes above. When everyone is getting unbelievably bullish at those highs, now they're getting rocked. And the system stops that from happening. We don't want that to happen to you guys. Same thing with here on gold. I'm here helping Moth. He's not even a current member. But I told you guys, there is no short on gold till we lose 33.54. And now look at gold. It's all the way back up again at 33.66. It's 10 or 100 points higher than where it is now. By the way, ETH just put in another new high on that long idea. Potentially, and by the way, we did get it finally loaded. We do have that bearish confirmation on Microsoft. So Microsoft is currently looking for puts at New York Open when it pops here in 10 minutes. Amazon is also still looking for puts. Apple is neutral. Again, as you guys are watching, we're just waiting for it to close above. That would make it look for calls, or close below, be looking for puts at New York Open. Yep, nothing else across the board. All right, folks, this is what's going to happen. I'm jumping off now. And if markets shoot straight downwards on these ideas, will you please just shout us out? I'm jumping off now. I want to stay on, but I know it's going to be the worst decision I ever make. Not because I don't want to be on the stream. It's just I will miss my flight, and bad things are going to happen when that happens. But I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I do this all the time where, like, I always say I'm going to jump off the stream, and I don't, and I stay on longer and longer with the members. Again, reminder, we do this every day in our Discord, but I can't take the chance right now. I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. I hope that I was helpful. And if you guys ever have any questions or anything, like, I mean it, please just come over to our Discord and ask questions. Like, we actually will answer your questions. So head over to Discord. We're here to help you. I appreciate you guys. Current members, thank you guys too. I appreciate you. And thank you guys for all the well wishes. I appreciate it too. But please come head over. And then, like Wes said, I always forget to say this. I know most other people have it ingrained. We don't spend a lot of time on the YouTube and the social side, where I forget always when this is done. If you guys can like and subscribe, I always forget to say that. I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Please reach out. And then if you guys are in shorts on this, send it down. Cool. Take care, guys. I appreciate you. Have a fantastic rest of your day.